Good evening.
Good day, folks. Actually, with a minute, I'm going to get a coffee.
Oh, wow, look at this. There's people here before, right on time. This is amazing. You guys are passionate.
Yeah.
It is recording.
It is.
Looks like you made it home, Alex, huh?
Indeed, yeah. Unfortunately, our meetings aren't going to be littered with golf cart music and mullets, so I apologize. I'm back in Colorado.
There's good stuff in Colorado, too.
There's just less mullets than where I was in Virginia.
Hello, folks.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing, Josh?
Good. Good. Getting ready to go to Michigan for the weekend, so.
What's in Michigan?
Not Chicago. Basically a suburb of Chicago.
A little summer relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we're in that beautiful phase here where it's quickly getting hot. So so far I've kept the air conditioner rolled in the corner and we'll see how long it stays there.
We are 2 minutes over time. Do we want to get started or wait for any more to roll in? All right.
Sounds good.
Great. Okay. Let's see here. It is July 14th. This is our first Artifacts Working Group meeting after the approved charter. So here we are. We're official. And yes, very good. Let's see here. I think I might have some new attendees to the working group meeting. So just take this quick moment before we jump into the subtask for the working group establishment for those new to introduce themselves and share a little bit about their backgrounds or what they're currently engaged in and why that might be relevant to the working group. So go ahead.
Hey everybody, I'm Andy Goldstein. I know a few of you here, so for those of you that I do know, good to see you again. Nice to meet the rest of you as well. I am at Red Hat. I'm working on the operator framework and trying to design a new series of APIs to make installing operators easier in OpenShift at the very least, but hopefully to the broader community, Kubernetes community as well. And in past lives, I've worked at VMware helping design some of the packaging APIs that Carvel has. So I've got a lot of background in this space and would love to collaborate and see where we can take things.
Welcome, Andy.
Thanks.
I'm also, I think,
this is my first time attending the meeting. I had meant to attend, I think, the first 2 calls, but I missed those. I'm Aaron Friel. I am doing engineering at Pulumi. Part of my remit here is our package ecosystem and our registry of about 100 and some odd providers. And I think our goals overlap a lot with the other folks here. Is we don't want to reinvent the wheel on distributing packages and securing them, participating in an ecosystem together with everyone else so that we can provide the benefits to our customers that users are asking for regarding supply chain, discoverability, being able to query what I'm currently using. All of these things are top of mind for me.
It's great to have you here, Aaron. Thanks.
This is my first time attending as well. So I work at VMware, and like a part of my job is maintaining Kavl. So Andy, nice to meet you. And so since like Kavl essentially delivers packages and groups of packages as OCI artifacts and does the interest. I believe my colleague Java had attended previously. So while he has worked closer to like the bundling part of things, my work is closer to the consumption of these bundles. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I can go next. So me, I am, can you guys see me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Fahim. I work in a bank as a developer, and I heard about CNCF and I just wanted to explore just to see, contribute to open source. I'm just, doing my first Googling and I saw this meeting. So I just joined just to see, how it goes, what is being talked on. Yeah, just to observe a bit as a first step.
Welcome, Fahim.
It's nice to know we're showing up in Google search. So that's something.
Ram. Almost got him.
Let me set this up.
Oh,
There you go.
Hey, my name is Ram Kumar Chinchani. Ram. So I'm the author of ZOT, which is an OCI native registry, and that project is under CNCF. So I'm a part of Cisco's containers team. So although ZOT is in CNCF, is a CNCF project, I actually am more active on the OCI side. So this group is a perfect marriage of both things. So let's solve some problems here.
I love it. Thank you. Let's see here. Is there anybody else who wants to speak up as an intro or have anything that they're working on that you feel like would be relevant to this to the context of this meeting? And if not, then we can jump. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to welcome Andy and Fahim, is new and how do we pronounce it? Somik?
Somik.
Somik, okay. To the group, this has been a long evolution. While I was in Azure, we were asked to support additional artifact types as distributions, and running the registry. It was just the amount of people it takes to run a reliable package manager is a big challenge. We've seen with the other package managers that are out there. So it's been my goal in when we started OCI artifacts for Helm and other packages, is to leverage the infrastructure people already have in cloud providers and projects like ZOT, so that we can enable more artifact authors to create new things like Carvel and all these other ones that are coming up, or whatever you're doing in your bank, Fahim. It'd be awesome to hear what you're thinking there, without having to create yet another package manager, because creating package manager isn't just writing the code, it's running the services. And that's a big challenge, because it's not just the one, it's everybody wants a copy of it in their private environment. So that was the main goal around OCI artifacts, was to use that distribution vehicle to support other types so that people can just continue to innovate new things. So it's exciting to see this evolve as we expand that to be beyond just things that are container images and so forth, but other package types that may not be related to containers at all. So that's the big piece of this. From a Docker perspective, we're also just interested in some of the things around search. That's one of the pieces that have come up. Every registry has a different search API of some sort, which makes it hard to do common tooling across all of them. So that was one of the incubus that came up. And then, is the search APIs unique to registries or other package managers? So that was one of the many reasons why we wanted to start the group here under the broader CNCF space. Peter seems to be.
Thanks for the intro on to the working group, Steve. That's a really good context as to kind of why we're here and what we're doing. So maybe we need to add that to the agenda also, so that we can kind of just do a quick summary about, and I don't want it to become monotonous, but I think that as people roll in, it's helpful for that context to be shared. So maybe we can come up with a 30-second blurb that we kick our meetings off with, that we just kind of have that base establishment. That's great. Thank you. Any objections to jumping into the next agenda item, which would be work in progress?
I put that agenda down, Alex, as we were starting up the meeting here. So I think that I was kind of thinking, well, we did the intros, but the actual, now we got the charter. So let's talk about, if you guys are up for the actual, work on the search and discovery stuff. Or if you want to, and then I put the pending items that we've kind of discussed over the past week. We can do those first, but I don't want to distract from your actual content if you want to do that first.
I think the way I saw these meetings coming together, this first couple were just kind of like the administrivia of establishment and the chairs and the subtasks that you had already kind of broke out for us. I thought that would be a good place to start with work in progress. I'd defer to some maybe the experience of the group here as to at what point we want to start engaging in technical discourse in these meetings, or I don't. I'm not sure when that's appropriate. Do we do that once we get the repo so we can actually like put it somewhere? Put that work, those discussions, have some place to make a canonical reference to that work, or so I would just defer there. But I thought we could just start off with the administrative stuff for now.
Yeah, maybe actually on that. So relating both the administrative stuff and, the work, the Git repo, which we have talked about, and there's a process almost in place. What they're going to want is us to open an issue describing what we're going to do with it. So maybe that does kind of tie to what we think the work is or how we want to get it started. I know I've thrown out there like just submitting all the different resource types or media types, but maybe we talk about that. What would we use that repo for?
Yeah. I can think of the repo being the place where we are capturing the details, like what are the use cases? Obviously there'll be some designs we'll get to, but I think the big piece that I've seen, we talked about is there's lots of great designs, but what problem is it trying to solve? So if we can just write down, here's the use cases that we're trying to solve, use cases, scenarios, whatever the word we want to put to it, and articulate that agnostic of implementation, then we can start to think about where's the commonalities and how do we solve some of these problems. And we had the beginning of it in some of the charter, and we agreed to pull it out of the charter because it became too detailed, and we knew that would churn.
To that point also, I was thinking the approved charter, I had broken out into three goal phases, which were like research, design, and implementation. Those aren't the actual headings of those, but that summarizes what they are. So I didn't know if maybe when we get that repo established, we could do some high level, like epic level planning, kind of open up those work streams there and work within each of those contexts as we're kind of going through this process. Because I think that what you're talking about with identifying those use cases is going to be in the research phase.
I'll shift to the raising hand model. I'm sure we'll start getting more meaty here. Josh, so I haven't done a CNCF tag before. Is the model you get a repo or do we get an org? How does that work? So I was just thinking of things like board tracking, issues and so forth.
It was a bit of an effort to even get this org that we can get repos in. So to start, we're just gonna have the repo.
Okay.
Yeah, I can bring up the org thing, but this issue was just created and they literally just created the org yesterday. So I think we should try to use that if we can first.
That's fine. I think my main question was more of I can't imagine right now why we need multiple repos per se, but I was thinking like, a board for tracking, which permissions configuration aside, we should be able to get a project underneath the org related to our repo and do that. So that's a perfectly good place to start. And if and when we need to branch out, I haven't tried. I know repos can move. I'm assuming boards can move to another org, but I'm just totally assuming that.
You probably know more about GitHub than me these days, Steve, but because it was a Microsoft thing for a while. But we can get more than one repo. Like that wouldn't be that would be okay. But the main thing is I literally was just talking with Emily about it this morning and I was like, okay, you created the org, now how do we get a repo? And that was what we just said is open an issue in our tag, describing what you're going to do with it. Justin will, sign off and the tag leads, and then we'll create it. Should be pretty straightforward.
Okay, so I guess that's the first item is we need this project space. Is there anybody who'd like to volunteer to submit the issue for the repo creation? If not, that's something I can take care of. Going once, going twice.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. I know I'm new, but if there's background that I can crib from, happy to do that.
Awesome. Yeah, you're in the Slack chat.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
unfortunately, there's two of me because I think one of them was from my old VMware one. But yes, I'm in the channel.
Okay, great. I think we could, if you have any questions and when you're submitting, I think we could go back and forth there. Hold on, I see Josh's. Nope. Okay, cool. So yeah, Ram, that's what Josh has put is where the link that Josh has posted is where they want us to submit those issues. Great. Okay. I see there's a PR 417. Why can't I click on that? Okay. Okay, so this is, you can just go top to bottom here within PR 417. Or I'm sorry, issue 417. There's elect 2 chairs to manage the working group. I was a high point in my life when you nominated me, Josh. Thank you for that.
Thank you for.
And then I think there's, yeah, thank you. And then I think there's another update there too, right? Would you like to share about that?
Yeah, Ram Kumar has also stepped up. Ram, do you want to just chat for a second and tell us that?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, so I just throw my hat in the ring because it's an opportunity. So if there are more qualified people and who want to be on the board, I would definitely defer to them. But my hat is in the ring. Secondly, this will be the first time I'll be doing anything like this, so it could be a bumpy road, but I'm sure folks will help. So there you go. And I think in general, the perspective I would bring is I am more active on the OCI side, and my project, like I said, was in the CNCF side, so that's where I have some interaction there. So this could be so I bring sort of two perspectives to this problem. So maybe that helps in guiding this process through.
A huge plus one. I mean, having the Zot project as a way to do implementations and testing it with OCI would be, the OCI-based registry would be awesome. Love to get one for some of the other package managers as well, but that's certainly an awesome place to start.
I spoke with Ram about this, I think yesterday, just very briefly in chat, and I was reminiscing with him. The first time that I'd actually heard him speak was at the ORIS meeting when he presented Zot, and he always has a very measured tack that he takes in public engagements, and just a great perspective. And would have my endorsement as well. And like Steve said, having Zot as a potential for implementation would be. I mean, it's already a great registry, so it'd be a great place to test things out.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. I think it's a great fit. So Ram, I think the next Ram, do you go by Ram Kumar or just Ram?
The name is really long, so Ram is just fine.
Okay, I didn't want to. So yeah, let's work, and I'll get a nomination up for you like we have for Alex in the next few days. And I think overall on that process, it will be the tag has a meeting on Wednesday, so I can use that as an inflection point, and hopefully by the end of next week we can, I guess it's Justin needs to sign off probably, and the tag leads. We can open a PR and get you both officially as chair. Assuming everybody.
Now I think it's 2 or 3 chair positions, right, Josh? So I just wanted to throw that out there. There is it's not 2 or nothing, right? There's somebody else could throw their hat in. And so I just open that up here for the group, if this is something that, yeah, go ahead, Eddie.
I'd definitely be interested in putting my name in as well.
Awesome. I mean, I know I can vouch for you from the work on KCP and other things over here at Red Hat. I guess Alex can too. Are we concerned that it would be 2 Red Hatters, I guess?
Yeah, I was wondering about that, if that would be a problem.
I'm happy to volunteer as well, but we try to make sure they give plenty of space for others. Aaron, I know you're always concerned about time commitments, so.
I don't know if that was a nomination.
Little suggestion, but it's okay. I'm happy to have you bandwidth for your engagement.
Yeah, I would be happy to throw my hat in the ring, but I think that my experience in these sort of organizations committees is much more recent than I think a lot of folks here, and I would echo what I think Ram said, and that it might be a bit rockier if I were to be nominated as chair, as I just don't have as much depth of experience, but I am pretty deeply passionate about the idea of building out this artifacts ecosystem, and I think we here at Pulumi are very interested in actually building out OCI utilization ourselves. So we would be potentially a consumer of an implementer of some of these APIs that we're thinking about.
Josh, just on the subject, or maybe Alex, and I know Andrew and others have been thinking about this. Do we have others from things that are not just registry specific, like some of the package managers? I know I thought we had some people on the call a couple of weeks ago, but maybe I'm not remembering. I might be mixing my meetings.
You mean like NPM and PyPI kind of other package?
Somebody,
managers?
yeah, just to get that breadth of representation. QLang maybe.
Yeah, it would be
Roger.
good to inform them. I don't know. Can't recall.
I would give a big +1 to reaching out to maybe the securing supply chains group and see if anyone from the package managers would be interested in participating in this org.
That'd be awesome.
I think package managers is becoming a like loaded term at this point too, which is kind of because I mean traditional Docker is essentially a type of package at this point, and then you have Helm, which I know there's a lot of in cross involvement between working group members here in Helm, and then also the operator framework has they're delivering operators as a package essentially. So are we saying cloud native package managers, or do we want to go like more like language package managers?
I mean, I think it's the breadth, right? I mean, Helm had Chart Museum and had another package manager to begin with. It was the OCI artifacts effort that kind of was started because I didn't want to run another service in Azure for these things, or even I think it was Terraform was another one, which they already have one. But I think Pulumi is a perfect example of they want to be able to distribute their, I always forget, you call them charts or templates. What do you guys call it?
We'll just call them packages.
Packages. Okay. So they want to distribute packages, and I'm sure they want to focus on that core business, not the business of creating a registry and convincing everybody to bring a bag of cash to run that. So it's, that's kind of been the motion, but there's existing package managers, and I've never wanted to, don't fix what's not broken. So it wasn't about trying to convince the existing package managers to move, but if there's new APIs that we could build to create that ecosystem, then that's a goal. So I think what we walked right into is the progress we've made with registries distributing artifacts is kind of that goal, but we want to make sure that we're giving coverage for the ones that already previously existed, and being very careful to not suggest they should move. Should they want to, that's great, but that's not the motivation. The motivation is, can we have new APIs that help the ecosystem be more collaborative across different package managers? Like, for instance, SBOMs has been something, a passion of mine, that I think the SBOM should be alongside the artifact you're distributing, as well as provenance and other things. So wherever I get my NPM package, right alongside of it should be the SBOM, should be the provenance file, obviously should be signed, all those things. So registries is one way to do it, but I'd love for NPM and NuGet and RPM and all these others to be able to do that as well. Because otherwise, every time somebody wants a new thing they want to distribute, yet another package manager, yet a different location to go to, and yet another VNet to configure to get the access to those things. So how can we take what we've been doing with OCI and make it more prominent across the other package managers?
So
Fred, you had
to that
done
end,
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I mean, does anybody here have any contacts with like anybody who's affiliated with language package managers that they could ping out to, less of a shot in the dark and more of a, I think that's what you were going to say, Steve, this is something a little bit more targeted, a previous affiliation.
I thought, Fred, didn't you reach out to some at some point, or I'm trying to remember the scope of that conversation?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember their name. So I remember they went by a GitHub alias in the Rust community.
Right.
And I think there were a couple people from the cargo team that were at least interested, I think, maybe joining some of these calls, but I can reach out again.
Okay.
And just to clarify, are we saying we want them to be nominated as chairs, or we just want their attendance within this?
Sorry, I did go there. So my thought was, when you guys triggered the conversation of how many from one company might be a chair, it made me think about, could we bring people that have other perspectives from other package managers? That was the tangent that I went on there. So bringing somebody brand new and say, hey, by the way, take this chair, might be a little bit fast. But if we think there's 3 chairs that we would use, maybe hold that third chair to see if we can bring in somebody with some more breadth experience from other package managers. I mean, we're small at this point, right? It's like having 3 chairs would be what, almost a third of this Brady Bunch screen we're looking at here.
Yeah, we're almost all, I mean, we're all kind of contributing at this point. I'm also thinking that, like, Steve, I really want your guidance. Some of the folks here have a little more long-term experience, and it, you know, if people are stepping up, I'd love to have at least one person like that as a leader. I think it'll help the group. So yeah, I guess I'm not giving it, but maybe that third person, we can, you know, try to get someone with experience across, maybe someone with the longer term experience, you know, running the groups.
You asking me to be the third chair, or are we keeping the chair open for somebody
I'm
with
not finalizing it here because I feel like we probably need to think about it. I don't want to come up with a final solution, but I'm just lending a thought. Like, if we could get also, I like Andy for that reason too. So I'm looking at him in my screen here. Yeah, just bring it as a thought. We can finalize it offline or online. Sorry.
I'm happy to help wherever I can. Obviously, lots of scars in this space to leverage from. So, but I wouldn't call myself the longest history of people in this space. So, anyway, why don't we just, I think, leave it open for now, would be my suggestion. And I think everybody is here to contribute and help. I don't just somebody gets tagged with the chair label.
And I just wanted to follow this up with I'm only, I guess, in a meeting, a couple meetings back, I was nominated as like interim facilitator or whatever of this group, because there's some hesitation as to kind of time commitments with the audience that was in attendance at the group at that time. But I will say that my involvement in this space is kind of anomalous as far as the other participants here. Whereas I don't have a concrete implementation of a registry or a package. My development within this space is only conceptual behind the Emporis project, which creates a generic driver for any technology to integrate with OCI artifacts. So it's not. I guess I'm more independent, I think, or maybe unaffiliated from a lot of this than other participants here who might be good consideration for chair positions. So I just want to put that out there. Like I was only doing this because this effort's very important to me, but I think there's way more qualified people to do this in the long term.
I think we want to keep you in the chair. Hey, look, chairs can rotate in the future. So what were you saying?
Yeah.
Nice try.
I mean, I dig it, but on issue 420, you guys can see my history. It's kind of, I'm not going to say sorted, but it's not. I think in as streamlined as a lot of the people here who'd have. I think different perspectives on it. So just throwing that out there.
I didn't see that one, so you got my +1. So cool.
Okay. Well, then, so Josh, should people who want chair positions or to be nominated contact you in Slack or submit an issue, or how do you want that to go down?
Yeah, you can contact me. That's how we're doing it now. Let's figure it out before we open an issue. Let's have a strategy. So yeah, I can take charge of working with people and figuring this out. It might be Monday or Tuesday till I respond. But yeah, I can take the lead on that.
So just following
So-
is the idea that others that might want to attend aren't available today, so we want to leave it a little open to give time for others to also volunteer.
I guess what I could do, so I'm thinking about this. I could open an issue and just request people to nominate themselves broadly. That might be a more classic way to do it. I'm kind of heading it off by, we have an idea. Do we want to do that? I guess that could be an interesting thread. It might be not so comfortable for folks. That's what I'm thinking about.
I'm torn on this one because the meeting chair tends to be the person that can participate in the meetings. But at the same time, it's nice to have this stuff accessible for people that need it async. I just don't know if someone can only participate async, how they would help out as a chair of the group. If they're going to be for meetings or not. Go
Like,
ahead.
if you're not here now, then you probably shouldn't be a candidate anyway. I see Andy's raising his hand.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think it's potentially okay if there's an initial seed of co-chairs, and it should try to be as open and equally representative as possible. But I think for an initial set, if we seed it, that's okay. And then we can take time to perhaps follow in the footsteps of Kubernetes and CNCF in terms of democratizing how additional or future chairs are established going forward.
So Josh, should we create another? So I didn't realize that issue was there, so I put it on the work group, the Slack channel. Should we create another one for Ram to be nominated?
Well, that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out from this. Like, I think maybe the next step is for me to open an issue for everyone to nominate themselves, including Ram, is what I'm kind of coming out from this discussion now. I think that we have consensus on Alex as the first, but maybe the next two we should open up. What do folks
We
think?
have
I'm
more
laughing
than
at
three.
Robert's comment on there, which a whole bunch of binary.
Sorry,
If
what?
we have more than 3 people that want to be chair, do we need to have a vote process?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I suggest that we stick with the 2 for now? I just because we've been kicking this off for a while. We've had people that have been engaged. To nominate somebody that hasn't been engaged yet would be good, over time, because the chairs will rotate. Just so we can get to the meat of the, now that we'll get a repo configured. Let's get into the meat of it. And as we grow, we could rotate out or we could add. But I think the conversation of having too many from one company is always a valid concern. I think the combination of my 2 cents would be a combination of Alex and Ram are awesome, and there's enough people here that can support them as the project gets bootstrapped. And as we grow, we'll learn and adjust. But I would love to keep if we are targeting 3, I'd love to keep the 3rd open for growth and breadth for some other package managers. So maybe
I
as
can get behind that. What is any objections to that? So nominate Ram. We've got 2 great people to get us started. We're all here supporting them. Keep the 3rd open, and we'll see where it goes.
Was there a Zoom raise of hands as the?
Or just, yeah, we could do that. Or if anyone has objections. Yes. Perfect.
I'm
Put it in the-
abstaining because I'm already in consideration.
I've seen you with alter egos. I think you can vote for yourself. You can vote for Ram. Yeah, that's the other way to do it.
I do vote for Ram. Yeah, I've already told him that in private also. Okay. Unless somebody cuts me off, I'm going to keep going. So I'm going back to the subtasks from issue 417. Add working group info to the working group README. Josh opened up PR 421.
That's a really easy one. Yeah, this one's basically was just to not forget. It's nothing special. I mean, just to have the basics in so that I can put the chair names in there and the meeting schedule and stuff. So I'll get that. I could probably merge it right now even. And this almost the same thing with the next one, add Ouija info to the tag web page. I can figure that out for you all. Part of this.
Okay. Okay. So let's see here. So we already know. We already know who's submitting the PR or the repo request. You said you're going to you've already started PR 421, which addresses the second one. You said that you're going to take on the third one as well, Josh.
Yep.
Okay.
I put my name down now in the list here. README's Josh. Okay. I just very quickly. This has been a concern of Andrew Block, and I'm doing this as a proxy for him. He's concerned about this meeting time. I think it's terrible for half the world. I think it's great because I'm in Colorado and it starts at 11 in the morning for me on a Friday, and that's pretty doable. But I'm okay with if I need to get up at 6 or please
Be
don't
careful.
make it 5.
6 is 5 West Coast.
Yeah, that's my concern is what day, what time can we do to accommodate the most people? And I don't think that we've hit it yet. And so I just want to keep that open for the group to consider that as something we, if not today, that we keep in mind as something that we want to change in the future.
We keep that open at the point that someone approaches the group that is not in our time zone, that's not in a convenient time zone, and then raise it then. Trying to find a new time right now with the same group that voted for this time last time. It's probably going to be a circular vote.
Yeah, there's just no good way to get US, Asia, and Europe. So it's, I want to be careful to not let it be self-selective that Asia folks aren't asking because they're not on the call to ask. But I think the more we get broader awareness of it, then we'll get people that will ask. So, I mean, I think the more immediate one is how do we get Andrew here? Because he's a huge, a person of huge background to be able to help. He unfortunately fell out of the, I don't remember exactly how that happened with him, not with us choosing a time that he couldn't make.
He probably can't make any time, but he can make every time by corollary, knowing Andy.
He, for those that don't know Andrew, he travels around the world constantly. That's all he does. So he'll be in some of these and he won't. I think he was voicing that just to make this as inclusive as possible. I don't think we're ever going to find a time slot that's going to accommodate him. I don't think that time slot exists on the clock. So I think it's just to be inclusive and just to keep that in mind for the group.
So what's the action item? Do we want to open the vote again for next week, or we know, like, specific to Andy, I'd love for him to be, but you're right, he's always traveling. So is this slot a scheduled conflict because he has another meeting at this time, or I can't remember what his reason was. Or
No,
just Friday in general?
He's just plays the consultant, 24-hour consultant. So I think he you know, I think what I forget who brought it up, but I think if we just keep this time slot and if it becomes an issue or somebody raises it, And maybe we can just periodically ping out to the group like, hey, reminder, we all know that the time slot sucks. Like, do we want to do anything about it yet?
Put that wherever someone would go to look for this meeting. If they're looking in the meeting notes at the top, just to say, hey, here's the time. We know it's not a great time. Here's how you can reach out to us.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we can do that.
So just wanted to say bye. I've got another meeting to go to, but I'll open up that repo request issue either later today or on Monday. Thanks.
Thanks, Andy.
See ya.
So Alex, what do you want to do? Just like, do we want to keep this for 2 weeks out from now? And then again, as the group grows, we can always reconsider.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the advice and put a blurb at the top of the meeting notes, and just, for those who are stumbling on, if they want to raise an objection to the time, they can. And then I was getting back from travel, so I didn't send out the meeting announcement until this morning, this week, but I usually try to do it a day or two in advance. What I can do is I can just say, reminder, if this is a problem, then please, raise the issue.
Yeah, please. I mean, if people can express their interest in wanting to attend and what time zone they're in, even if they just say what country, we could, make some assumption, then we would know. Like, I remember when you put up all of the doodle times, I don't remember if they spanned all 3 continents, there's more than 3 continents, but the 3 continents that typically come up. Maybe just that's a way to do it. Hey, who's interested? Please tell if you're interested in attending. What country are you in? And if you have a preferred time, then we can, not maybe next 2 weeks, but the time after that, we can schedule another doodle poll.
Yeah, I tried to hit like an early morning and a middle day and a late night. I can't. The Oris time slot is like prohibitive for me, and I think a lot of people. So like that would be, for those that don't know, it's like Tuesdays, fairly late. So I would try to get away from that. But yeah, I mean, I tried to. I don't know what's wrong with you people. You voted for this. Okay, that's all I know.
I mean, I think once we get the repo set up, and between that and the Slack channel, we'll have a lot more asynchronous communication too. So I think that'll help. I think what you're hearing a little bit from me is a bias towards let's get the party started and we'll continue to learn. So rather than continue to vote for times, we'll never make everybody happy. Let's get something. But if we can get the repo in the Slack channel and we can start making PRs and discussions, the thing will get bootstrapped. And then opening I don't know how we do it, whether a doc or an issue or whatever, but I love your idea of putting something at the top of wherever we're pointing people to. Who's interested, what time zone are you in? And then, who's interested in attending weekly calls as opposed to who's interested in attending asynchronously. And that would help us drive, but I'd love to
I credit Brandon for that suggestion, but yeah, I agree.
Sweet.
Okay, that wraps us up on issue 417. I think we have our scheduled work here, or we know what's going on here. And I think that wraps up the agenda.
So Alex, do you want to discuss? I know we had briefly chatted this morning. I think it's okay to bring up with the group here. Do you mind if I bring it up, Alex, the KubeCon talk?
Yeah.
Okay, so the deal is that every working group can submit a maintainers talk session for KubeCon. The deadline is the Sunday night, so I'm sorry I'm telling you very late, but I'm kind of figuring this out also pretty late. It's pretty. I didn't want to share it too broadly. This week is when I kind of found out about it, but like because it's pretty guaranteed to be accepted if it's, valuable to the community, which, we should make sure that we're clarifying the value. But I think it'll be a great opportunity for you all to talk about what the group is trying to do. Talk about some of the initial stuff. Hopefully by then it'll be November, you'll have some stuff to talk about. And, maybe recruit some other contributors to help them understand what's happening. But it's really late and it's a summer weekend, so I understand, but if we want to try to get something together and submit it by Sunday night, just wanted to put that out there at least.
Do you have any more info on what the sort of the CFP for this topic is, like to make sure that I have an idea that it's in scope?
It's very similar to the main Kubernetes CFP. Do you mean like what's the goal? Like what are they looking for when they evaluate it?
Yeah, I guess what. Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of assumption that if you're maintaining a project and you're sharing about the project, that it's valuable intrinsically. But yeah, I think it would be what are you bringing to the attendees, the people that are there that they might not otherwise have gotten. Some innovative idea, but in this case, I think it would be more, telling the story of this group and as well as like the ideas that we're hoping that will come out of it. Does that make sense? Like, who are we bringing together? What's the purpose of this group? And what are, some of the initial things that are hopefully emerging by November? API schema or API extensions, gathering media types, that kind of stuff. Basically, I guess if somebody is passionate about doing this, if there's more than one, I guess let me know or let Alex know. We'll have a Slack channel we could have in the background over the weekend. And if somebody has something, I can review it Sunday evening, I guess. I know sorry, but it's either that or nothing. So we don't have to do this. But yeah, I'll help you. I'll take a look at it and I'll give you the link where we could submit it. Because I'm going to be submitting one for the platforms group at the same time.
Do you already have a template for this from your platform submission that we could poach or?
Sure. Yeah, I can. Here's the one that I'm doing for platforms. In fact, they're not even asking for the benefits to the ecosystem on this one, but they're counting on us as maintainers to appreciate that that's the purpose of these talks. I can find you the sessionize link, but I'd rather kind of not put that in public here. So that's why I'd rather have a background chat if somebody wants to pursue this.
This is something that Andrew Block and I have already presented on this at other conferences. It's something that that I'm passionate about, obviously, because I'm here. But I'll have to talk to you about some of the details, Josh, offline as to some of my hesitations for this particular one.
Okay. That's it on that. I just wanted to inform you.
All right. Okay. We don't have anything else scheduled. If anybody has any last minute anything at the end here that they'd like to bring up, give you a couple seconds to gather that thought and then present it. If not, then I think if there's no objections, we can close this session out a couple minutes early.
It's a summer Friday. Enjoy.
I just shared the CFP link because I don't know, it doesn't look very hidden. So, and I don't think this chat gets shared anyway. So if you want to take a look there, get more clarity, you can too. That's the last thing I'll share.
All right. So I am just very excited. I know I don't convey that very well, but I'm very excited about this. The progress we're having here. I can't wait to jump into technical discussions with you guys. Looking forward to our next session in 2 weeks, maybe getting closer to the potential for those discussions. So I really appreciate everybody's time here, and just thank you.
Alex.
Thank you,
All
Alex,
right, go
and Josh,
team.
for doing all the heavy legwork. Really appreciate it.
All right, enjoy the
Take
weekend.
care.
Later, folks.